Welcome to Guerrilla Democracy News. I'm your host for tonight, MrX, broadcasting live from Brighton. This is Guerrilla Democracy News, brought to you by the guerrillademocracy.blogspot.com, reporting the news that the mainstream media daren't report. Thank you one and all for listening in. And tonight's show will be a reading of Chris Spivey's Things Trouble Me of Late. Join Guerrilla Democracy News as we read out loud Things Trouble Me of Late by Christopher Spivey, published on August the 17th, 2019. Okay, in this article I'm going to be talking about some of the news articles that have caught my eye of late. And while some of them that I'm going to discuss, albeit not all, may seem of little importance in the grand scheme of things, I believe that they all go to show what a crazy mixed up cunt of a world we really live in nowadays. For instance, let's start with a farcical from the chimp that on the surface of it is presented as a nice, heartwarming tale, although in reality it has no place in an international newspaper. Yet I find it somewhat sinister. Heartwarming moment. Mother bursts into tears when her son turns up wearing his late father's shirt for their date night. New Clayton Walker from Texas shared a video of the heartwarming moment on Twitter, showing his mother Julia Pritchett beaming proudly when she saw her son in her late husband's clothes. After she broke down in tears, her son embraced her and kissed her on the head, saying, "I love you." The post has received more than 900,000 likes and 157,000 retweets, with Twitter users admitting it had left them in tears. You see, not for one fucking second did I find anything heartwarming about that headline. In fact, I found it quite sickening, to be honest. I mean, date night is a modern term for a couple making romantic time for themselves by going out for a meal or a movie and then having banging sex when they get home. Yet here is a mush dressed in his dead dad's clothes, taking his mother out for a romantic meal. And as I say, there is fuck all heartwarming about that. In fact, to me, the whole headline smacks of implied incest. Therefore, you have to question the real intent behind the chimp's publication of that non-story. After all, we all know that the monster elite's long-term plan is to normalise incest, bestiality and kiddie fiddling. All practices that the dirty cunts indulge in on a daily basis. Moving on, and it was Prince George of the Troglodytes' 5th birthday last month, and as a tribute the British Army released an unseen photo to mark the event, which obviously the brown-nosing monkey cunts lapped up and wrote a farticle about. British Army shares unseen photo of the Duke of Cambridge with his 3 children on a family day out to the polo as they wish Prince George a happy 6th birthday. Here we see 2 men of unknown identity standing next to Prince William, with a big grinning smile, holding what only appeared to be Prince. What's the new baby's name called? Prince. What's the new baby's name? The new one. The newest, next to George and Charlotte. That dog. Charlotte's looking at the dog. The British Army have shared a sweet photo of Prince George posing alongside the Irish Guards Wolfhound mascot to celebrate his 6th birthday today. Their snap shows George 6, Charlotte 4 and Lewis, of course, 1, posing alongside Prince William 37 at the Polo in Wokingham, Berkshire at the beginning of the month. Left. George and Charlotte are seen at the polo match. A message in set reads, the army in London, including the Irish Guards Wolfhound mascot Domhnall, is wishing HRH Prince George a very happy 6th birthday today. Our soldiers are always on duty, ready to serve. Just before I carry on, anyone see anything odd about that picture? I do, straight off. I see a few things odd. 2 things straight off. Maybe 3. 4. So what, you ask? It's a fake fucking photo, says I. I mean, let's ignore the fact that prick Willie is 6'3" tall, making George the tallest 6-year-old in history. The real proof that the photo is fake is the fact that prick Willie's legs do not match his upper body. Yes, I noticed that. His body should be down here. That gap shouldn't be there, because his leg would end around here, as we can see from here. That's his upper body torso. So his waist would have been here, behind Prince George's face. So that gap should not be there. That's physically impossible. That's saying that's his waist, and his, so what? So that's going to bend up. Is that how people are made, is it? Well spotted. He's got a good point about him being big. It just looks as if that's been planted in. See that side of the dog? You can't really see it because you can't see my cursor. But to me personally, it looks like the dog's been photoshopped in. I can see Chris Spivey's point about Prince George being so big, considering his dad is 6'3". So I agree, Chris Spivey. So, in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter that the army are releasing fake photos of the not-so-royal family to the press, who are in turn selling the story to the masses? Of course it fucking matters. I concur. Of course it matters. It matters very seriously that the royal family are lying to us. I mean, back to the article. I mean, you have to ask yourself why the army top brass sent the press a fake photo in the first place. And the only possible explanation to this is they didn't have a real one. You then have to ask yourself, if the event really took place, then why aren't there real photos? And the only possible answer to that is the event did not really take place. And this all comes back to what I've been saying for years. Namely, the majority of the royal family are not real. They are actors playing a role. Princess Diana certainly didn't exist, and neither did Kate Gold Digger Smith or Meghan Markle. Incidentally, despite nearly a year passing since the release of my book, Meghan Markle Exposed, in which I prove that Meghan Markle is a created character, it is still at number 74 in the Amazon charts. Royal biography section last week. Go me. Neither do Prick Willie and Prick Harry look anything at all alike. An amazing fact given their supposed elite bloodline. And then there was all the conspiracy theories surrounding the births of Willie and Kate's ankle biters, as well as that of Henry and Meghan. Indeed, I certainly do not believe that these four actors have any children together at all. And I would imagine that the children are played by a series of actors. In fact, in the very same article along about that army photo, the following photo of George also appears. And to my mind, he kind of looks to have a slightly longer face to other Georges, and the gap in his teeth appears to be wider. Oh, I see your point. Yeah, that's a squashed up. Well, he's older, so he's grown up and his face is elongated when he's younger. Younger, older. What do you think? To his mind, he kind of looks to have a slightly longer face to the other Georges, and the gap in his teeth appears to be wider. You will also notice that in the above photo, George has a strange grey line along the side of his head. Yeah, he has got yeah, there is. Can you see that? That is a grey line by the side of his head. It is. And at other times, his teeth just appeared to have been blatantly photoshopped. Yet less than 6 days ago, that photo of George wearing an England shirt had been taken. He had lost both of his front teeth and grown the bottom one back. Really? That's quite good. Which is strange because my grandson Clayton is 2 months older than George and has only just lost his 2 front bottom teeth. In fact, I don't think that anyone in Clay's class has lost their 2 front upper teeth yet. But there you go. As for his uncle, Princess Andrew, well, the press are certainly not letting his association with Jeffrey Epstein go away. However, whilst the whole Epstein fiasco is puzzling me based on the fact that if it were really true, he would never been in prison in the first place. Indeed, the chimp is leading the charge in conspiracy theories. You will note that the only association with a sex scandal as far as Randy Andy goes is that of him having a tumble with a 17-year-old, which is maybe morally wrong, but is certainly not illegal. Of course, as always, when Prick Andrew is involved in a scandal, which happens on a regular basis, the press always claim that the cunt is on the verge of getting back to his old slapper of a wife. Indeed, the controlled press have been at it all week and are continuing to do so as I write. 17th, the 8th, 19. Prince Andrew and his wife Sarah Ferguson are hiding from the public eye at a luxury Soto Grand resort, fueling speculation the divorcees may publicly reunite. The former royal couple landed at Malaga Airport earlier this week and were driven in a limousine to the resort where they have holidayed together since 2009, often in their private villa worth more than £38 million. The Duchess of York is said to be using the trip as an opportunity to pay her former husband back for his support over the years. She swept Prince Andrew to Spain to look after him after it was said he panicked following Jeffrey Epstein's death, the Sun reported. Yet, as I say, The prostitutes have been getting a satanic pair back together since at least 2013, if not before. Duke of York finds love again with old flame the Duchess of York. The Duchess of York is said to have rekindled her romance with her former husband, the Duke of York. The Duke and Duchess of York pictured in 1995 before their divorce. By Richard Eden. Friends claim that the couple was so close that they will eventually formalise their reunion. Mark my words, they will remarry, said one friend. It's only a matter of time. Another said, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They are a wonderful couple together and, still better, pretty amazing parents. The couple have remained close since they divorced in 1996 and both live at Royal Lodge, the former country home of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother in Berkshire. They joined Beatrice, 25, and her sister Princess Eugenie, 23, for the weekend at Balmoral, the Queen's Scottish retreat earlier this month. So, that is all total bollocks then. Specifically put out to fend off questions about Princess Andrew's penchant for children. Yet Fergie is just as involved with Epstein as her nonce ex-husband is. The following is taken from the Chimp, published on January the 5th, 2015. Sarah Ferguson was once given £15,000 from paedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein to pay off her debts. The deal was struck in December 2010 after months of negotiations with the disgraced tycoon who insisted on helping with her financial troubles. It came within days of the Duke of York flying out to visit Epstein in New York. Fuel and speculation he had smoothed the path for his ex-wife to take the money just 18 months after he was released from jail for soliciting prostitution from underage girls. The Duchess of York later claimed her judgment had been clouded by her desperation to get out of her £5 million debt and vowed to repay the money. So, back to the article. So, if that farticle is to be believed, then you have to buy into the fact that the fat Fergie took a 15 grand gift of a convicted nonce in the belief that it would help her out of her 5 million squid debt. In fact, the more I look into the Epstein old bollocks, the more that I'm leaning towards it being an elaborate, long time in the making plan to bring down the royal family. I mean, take for instance the following Chimp article from 2011. Prince Andrew's billionaire paedophile friend given permission to land private jet at RAF base for secret Sandringham for visit Sandringham. Queen summons son to convey concerns over links to Jeffrey Epstein. A billionaire met Beatrice when she was 9 and Eugene at 8. Duke lobbied for Azerbaijani on Monday. Prince Andrew's convicted paedophile friend, Jeffrey Epstein, was given permission to land his private jet at an RAF base to visit the Duke at Sandringham. The flight log of Epstein's Gulfstream revealed it touched down at RAF Marham on December 7, 2000, before he was hosted by the Andrew at the Queen's Norfolk residence. Aboard the jet that day was someone with the initials E.T., thought to be Miss Maxwell's assistant, Emily Taylor, a woman called Kelly Spam, Epstein's friend Tom Pritzker, and an unnamed female. After all, as I said earlier, they are a family of actors, and the millions that they do earn their controllers are maybe no longer worth the effort. Moreover, Ghislaine Maxwell is heavily implicated in that damning article, and she is, according to the control press, the next person in the firing line. Indeed, The royal family being the real target behind the Epstein old bollocks makes a lot more sense to me than how it is being portrayed in the press. Especially when coupled with a very real covert press agenda to turn the public against Henry and Meghan. In fact, I did wonder to myself if Jeff Epstein was only a made-up puppet playing a role. And when I voiced this opinion in a comment, someone told me to look at his likeness to Hillary Clinton's brother, Tony Rodham, who coincidentally died last month. It is a striking resemblance. Tony Rodham and brother-in-law Bill Clinton with Jeffrey Epstein. Certainly, the ears look a match. Here have another. And of course, the conspiracy theory that it was Tony Rodham on the gurney with the picture, Epstein's death picture. So that ties in with what's already been released by certain other researchers. Now, what would the chances be of the man who could take down Hillary Clinton looking almost exactly like her recently deceased brother? And talking about lookalikes brings me to the next thing that has been on my mind of late, namely the 50th anniversary of the first moon landing. Now, I'm not talking about the moon landing itself because I've written extensively about the fake landings in the past. And if you are gullible enough to believe that man has ever set foot on the moon, then more fool you. However, what is troubling to me is the likeness between Neil Armstrong, the first man to set foot on the moon, and Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space. Is there resemblance there? Gagarin, Armstrong. Gagarin. At best, a fucking fantastic coincidence. But then again, as we all know, the world is a stage. Which brings me to the writer and researcher Miles Mathis and his account of Elvis Presley found here. You see, Mathis claims that Elvis's life was an intelligence project, and that his twin brother Jesse Garon Presley never really died at birth. Mathis then goes on to state that both brothers played the role of Elvis, and it was in fact Jesse who married Priscilla and fathered Lisa Marie. Wow. Whew. Let's have a quick look. That's something to check out. You see, I've already read that. Of course, my regular readers will know that I have a slightly different take on Elvis to Miles. But I think that we can both agree that there is an awful lot more to Elvis than we have ever been told. Nevertheless, I was sent some photos the other day which suggest that Mathis could indeed have been right about Jesse and that he actually died in 2003. Here, have a butcher's at these. Jesse Gordon. The birth date, January 8th, 1935, is certainly correct. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Jesse and Elvis, allegedly. But who knows? Moving on, and the latest cash extortion racket proposed by our nonce MPs is to ban hands-free phones in cars. Hands-free mobile phones should be banned while driving, MPs have said. Using handheld phones while driving is already banned, with a maximum punishment of 6 penalty points and a £200 fine, up from 3 points and £100. But MPs in the Commons Transport Select Committee says hands-free versions can be just as dangerous. The committee said that the law gives the misleading impression that hands-free mobiles are safe while driving, despite them creating the same risks of a collision. The cross-party committee admitted criminalising hands-free phone use and enforcing a ban would be challenging, but added, this does not mean that we should not do it. Now, not only is this move another assault on our civil liberties, but it's also going to give the corrupt lot even more powers to stop the already harassed motorist. Indeed, the proposal is pathetic in the extreme. After all, talking to a hands-free phone is no different than a driver talking to his passenger. So what are they going to ban next? Talking in cars? In fact, I would wager that lighting a cigarette, switching radio stations, or turning around to see why your child is so quiet in the back whilst driving is much more dangerous than talking to a fucking phone. And finally, a story that made me chuckle once again has an amazing coincidence attached to it. Now, the chimp article in question was about how much the super rich, such as Giddy Hadid, loved the Greek island of Mykonos and was released at 12:08 a.m. on the 10th of August. Super yachts, champers at 65k a bottle, 5k Gucci handbags, and Jiggy Hadid. How beaches of the Greek island of Mykonos have become a dripping with cash playground for the mega rich and famous. Namis on the Greek island of Mykonos boasts a 100-metre long stretch of beach with crystal clear water. Revellers can bask in exquisite comfort and absolute privacy while dining on some of the finest seafood in Europe. Mykonos was a poor fishing island before the tourist boom and now offers seasonal employment for tens of thousands. However, the article actually quotes Giddy Hadid as saying how much she loves the place. Yet a little more than an hour and a half after the monkey cunts published that old bollocks, they released the following article. Giddy and Bella Hadid are robbed. Model's luxury holiday villa on the Greek island of Mykonos is ransacked, leaving her traumatised and vowing to never go back. GG24 and Bella 23 were raided while out on the town, sources revealed. The pair arrived back to their holiday villa to find the place turned upside down. Valuables, including jewellery, clothing, purses and sunglasses, were stolen. The girls cut short their holiday and left the European island on a private jet. You really couldn't make it up. But don't forget to donate to this month's fees. Mustache. See ya. Wouldn't like to be ya. Bye.